What's up, Narko gang? Welcome back to the channel. If you're not subscribed, you already know what to do. Hit that like button, that subscribe button, hit that bell to be notified after that we drop. Today video is about famous last meals of celebrities that was put on death row throughout history. So with that being said, let's get to this content, Narko gang.
Imagine you knew for a fact that the next meal you ordered was going to be the last meal you ever ate, and you can have whatever you want. Would you go for your favorite comfort food, or would you try something fancy and expensive? Well, if you want some ideas, you've come to the right place, because
John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy was the spookiest clown ever who left this earth on May 10th, 1994. If you're the kind of person who's afraid of clowns, you may want to fast forward
his
through this
story
part.
was crazy.
Because prior to becoming caught, Gacy was known for performing at charity events under the names Pogo the Clown and Patches the Clown. This particular clown is known to have assaulted or ended the lives of young men who he lured into his home. He was finally arrested in December of 1978, and his punishment would be by lethal injection, which he was sentenced to in March of 1980. He would live the rest of his life at Menard Correctional Center, where he is said to have spent a great deal of time painting. Gacy's last meal included 12 fried shrimp, an order of French fries, a pound of strawberries, and a bucket of
12 fried shrimp, French fries, strawberries,
chicken from Kentucky Fried Chicken, original recipe. It's worth noting that prior to being convicted, Gacy actually managed 3 KFC restaurants. So whatever else you might say about him, and you could say a lot, he was a man who believed in what he was selling.
Alan Lee Davis,
on May 11, 1982, Alan Lee
is.
Davis murdered Nancy Weller and her 2 daughters, including 10-year-old Christina and 5-year-old Catherine, who he shot as she was trying to escape him. Sentenced to die in the electric chair, Davis spent his last days on death row at Florida State Prison in Stark, Florida, and went on to meet his maker on July 8, 1999. His execution was completely botched, and witnesses say he was still alive after the power was cut. Alan Lee Davis remains to this day the last person whose sentence was carried out by electric chair in the state of Florida. For his last meal, Davis went with a mostly seafood-themed meal that included
I'm messing with the lobster tail. What's it? Lobster tail, steak, shrimp, garlic bread, and I don't know what that is.
Lobster tail, a half pound of fried shrimp, and 6 ounces of fried clams. He also took half a loaf of garlic bread as a starter, a plate of
clams. So what's this then? Is this clams?
The French fries as a side dish, and then washed it all down with 32 ounces of A&W root beer. That's probably not the endorsement A&W wants.
Teresa Lewis.
In October of 2002, Teresa Lewis murdered her husband and stepson in order to cash in on a $250,000 life insurance policy. Lewis farmed the hit out to Matthew Jesse Schellenberger and Rodney Lamont Fuller, whom she had met at a Walmart. Wow, Walmart does offer a lot of services. Lewis let the hitmen into her husband's trailer and tried to make the whole thing look like a robbery gone awry. Unfortunately for her, her husband wasn't quite demised when the police arrived, and deputies heard him say that his wife knew who did it. On the advice of her attorney, Lewis pleaded guilty, hoping for leniency. But she was sentenced by way of lethal injection anyway. She spent her last days as the only woman on death row at the Fluvanna Correctional Center for Women in Troy, Virginia. This sentence was finally carried out on September 23, 2010. For her last meal, Davis opted for some American classics, including fried chicken.
Hold on. First off, I like peas. I like peas. I like chicken. And sometimes like cake. But in this order, where's the mashed potatoes? If it's gonna be a last meal, at least let it be a complete last meal. You know what I'm saying? What is this?
Chicken, peas with butter, Dr. Pepper, and for dessert,
hey, the butter not even melted. Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy, possibly the most infamous of criminals, confessed to 30 homicides committed between 1974 and 1978. His total victim count, however, is not known and is often believed to be much higher. Bundy, who's been played in the movies by the likes of Mark Harmon, Zac Efron, and Chad Michael Murray, would pretend to be injured or pose as an authority figure, like a police officer,
Nah, he was
before
a real
knocking his
psycho.
victims unconscious and then taking them to another location. Bundy was captured in 1975, but escaped twice before finally being put away for good in 1978. On February 10, 1980, Bundy was sentenced to the electric chair, which was carried out on January 24, 1989, at Florida State Prison in Bradford County, Florida. Bundy, probably having lost his appetite, knowing what was in store for him, passed on the chance to have a special last meal.
I heard he was a part of the LGBT community, right?
Instead, he received the standard fare, which included steak cooked medium rare, eggs over easy, hash browns, toast with butter and jelly.
This is more like it. Okay, this kind of reminds me of the law-abiding citizen with the steak, but he had the asparagus and all that. But at least the steak is almost like a T-bone or whatever that is. That looked good. I could deal with this for a last meal. I could deal
Milk
with that.
And juice.
Timothy McVeigh.
Timothy McVeigh carried out the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing. His attack, which destroyed 1/3 of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building, took the lives of 168 people and injured almost 700 others. Police caught McVeigh by tracing the vehicle identification number of a rear axle found in the wreckage of the bombing. The part belonged to a Ryder truck that had been rented in Junction City, Kansas. Employees there gave a description to an FBI sketch artist, and that sketch eventually identified McVeigh, who had been arrested on an unrelated gun possession charge in Perry, Oklahoma. McVeigh was convicted on June 2, 1997, and sentenced to meet his maker 11 days later. He would spend the majority of his remaining days on death row in Terre Haute, Indiana. His sentence was carried out on June 11, 2001. For his last meal, McVeigh kept it simple.
I know
All he asked for
lying.
was 2 pints of mint and chocolate.
I know you lying. That's mint and chocolate ice cream. Oh yeah, he did everything they said he did. He's definitely a psycho. Ain't no way with a butter pecan, with the cookies and cream. You know what I'm saying? Vanilla birthday cake. Where the ice cream that where the
chip ice cream.
man, he out of line.
Sacco and Vanzetti were Italian
I don't know
immigrants
what this
and
is.
anarchists. In 1921, they were convicted of taking out a guard and a paymaster.
Oh, what their name was? Fernando Nicola, and I heard Vanzetti, Vanzetti. He's like a mobster or something, like, right?
Sacco and Vanzetti were Italian immigrants and anarchists. In 1921, they were convicted of taking out a guard and a paymaster during an armed robbery in Braintree, Massachusetts, on April 15th of the previous year. Despite their numerous appeals being denied, Sacco and Vanzetti became famous worldwide. Legions of people believed them to be innocent, and protests were held all over North America and Europe, as well as in places like Tokyo, Sydney, Buenos Aires, and Dubai. Nonetheless, their sentences were carried out at midnight between August 22nd and 23rd of 1927. Over the years, evidence mounted in their favor, and in 1977, Massachusetts Governor Michael Dukakis said that they had been unfairly tried and convicted, and that any disgrace should be forever removed from their names. Sacco and Vanzetti's last meal is recorded as being the simple menu of soup, meat, toast, and tea. What kind of soup or meat?
Soup, meat, toast, and tea. Like, was he German? But they weren't German. They eat like they were Germans. Ain't no way I'm asking for this for my last meals, bro. Like,
it was, unfortunately, is lost to history.
Had to go. Ricky Ray Rector.
Ricky Ray Rector took the life of a man at a dance hall after a friend of his had been denied entry. 3 days later, Rector agreed to turn himself in, but in a twist absolutely no one saw coming, he also took the life of the police officer who negotiated his surrender by shooting him in the
black
back
person
and
on the
then
list.
tried
I
to
bet
take his
you
own
could have
life
the
with a
best
pistol
meal
to the head. Despite the fact his botched attempt had effectively lobotomized him, Rector was sentenced to lethal injection. Arkansas Governor and future President Bill Clinton even returned home from the presidential campaign trail to oversee the execution, which was carried out on January 24, 1992. When it came time for his last meal, Rector requested steak, fried
everybody
chicken,
got
cherry
steak,
Kool-Aid, and pecan pie for dessert.
Wait, what?
Rector requested steak, fried chicken, cherry Kool-Aid, and pecan pie for dessert. He finished
So steak and fried chicken, pecan pie, and cherry Kool-Aid. I mean, to me personally, that's probably the best meal on here. They didn't present it the best,
Finished everything except
but
the
I feel
pie.
like it was the
He
best
told
meal.
the guard he was saving it for later.
Wow. He didn't eat the pecan pie. He said he was saving it for later. Bro, this is your last meal.
On May 26, 1980, Stephen Wayne Anderson robbed the Bloomington, California house of a retired teacher, Elizabeth Lyman. When Lyman saw Anderson in her home, she screamed, prompting him to shoot her. Anderson, who was known to have admitted to taking the lives of at least 8 other people, was convicted of the Lyman murder and sentenced on June 24, 1981. His sentence was carried out by lethal injection on January 29, 2002. When it came time for his last meal, Anderson requested 2 grilled cheese sandwiches,
Ooh, that peach cobbler look good.
a pint of cottage cheese, a hominy corn mix, peach pie, chocolate chip ice cream, and radishes.
Okay, that might be the second one. All right, we're gonna go ahead and end it right here. If y'all want part 2, let me know in the comments. Spam part 2 in the comment. W reaction. If you stay to the end, hit that like button, that subscribe button, hit that bell to be notified for everything that we drop. W reactions. Yeah, let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Did y'all think that the last meals was W's? I mean, I feel like, was it like a limited thing they could have asked for? Because I would have asked for a whole bunch of stuff, a whole buffet, me personally. But maybe they could only ask for so much. They maybe like 5 or 6 things, including drinks and dessert. So you get like a steak, a side, a condiment, which is butter. You know what I'm saying? So that's 3 things already. Then you get a cobbler and a drink. That's 5 things. And that's probably it. So maybe that's how it go. I don't know. I never been on death row. I don't know nobody that been on death row. So like I said, like it up. If y'all want part 2, if y'all want another video similar to this, let me know in the comments. We're out the State Narko Gang. Peace.